Hello and welcome. And please, if you're watching, say hi in the comments. Just drop me a line. Let me know that you can hear me. But yeah, welcome if you're watching live. Welcome if you're watching the replay. It's always good to have you here. Tonight's session is a Q&A session. So think of any questions you've got and share them in the post. And if you, we can always come back to some of the questions after the call. Or you can always drop questions into the group at any time so that when we do our live streams, we can always come back and refer back to them. So it's always worth dropping in your questions. And here's Anita. Hi, Anita.
Are you okay?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Brilliant. So I was just explaining that it's Q&A tonight, so people to post any questions if they're watching. So, but we were chatting ourselves, weren't we, about other things that we could ask, and you came up with a good idea about healing modalities.
Yeah.
So, so what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, obviously, we think about the traditional healing modalities like Reiki and crystal healing, etc. But then we don't really think about the more sort of, what's the word that I can use? It's not the regular healing modalities, things like flower essences, obviously using crystals to make gem essences, things like that, so they're slightly different, so, and I know like a lot of people like aromatherapy, but the other side of aromatherapy is that yes, it's lovely to have a massage, but there's other sides to the healing modalities of it, because we can use the essential oils to help to in other different parts of the body. So it's not just about working on a massage or drinking an elixir from the flower essences or gem essences. It's about what it actually does to the body and to yourself, so yeah, it's just like the more of the more uncommon things that we don't think about that underlie it. And another one that we tend to forget is physiotherapy, because physiotherapy is therapy, counseling is therapy. But we tend to forget those things because what happens is we don't go for counseling for relaxation, do we? We don't go to physio, you know what I mean? So it's trying to sort of explain to people it's not just about the normal day-to-day treatments that you can receive if you go to a spa or if you go to a wellness centre like the Full Spectrum Centre. It's the other things that sit in the background that actually assist with healing on all different levels. So yeah, it's just something different to talk about, and it is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's all really, really interesting. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire. You okay?
How are you?
I'm getting my vitamin D in while I can, ladies, because it's been dark and grey and rainy here. So
it's been a bit dark where I am as well, so you're all right.
Yeah, it's really overcast here now.
We were 13 degrees today. 13. And we go down to 7 at night. So as soon as this sun just popped out, I was like, I'm getting in it.
Get out there.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a little bit like though, because I'm getting my vitamin D. I'm sat by the grass, blue sky, colour therapy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
definitely.
I just want to come back to the comments. Anne's with us. Hi, Anne. And Brenda is with us as well.
Hi, Brenda.
So, Brenda, you are with us. Just you could just post your comments in the Facebook chat as you normally do. If you want us to see us in the StreamYard group, there's usually a little link just at the description that you can click on, and that gives Facebook permission to show your profile to us so that we can see who's talking in the chat. But I do have my phone open so I can see it's you anyway. So yes, you just came in at the tail end of that, Claire, with the different healing modalities, and you're absolutely right. Sunshine and colours are definitely big on that. So what is your favourite therapy?
Ooh.
Impossible, Mel. Impossible. What's yours?
It's a good question. I absolutely love Reiki, but then we use we've got a PEMF mat, and that is absolutely brilliant. So if I've been working at the end of the day, I find it so relaxing to go on that, and that obviously improves relaxation. It helps with circulation, and it oxygenates all your systems, cell regrowth. So there's so many healing benefits from that as well.
What is that, Mel? I've never heard of that.
A PEMF mat. It's pulsed electromagnetic therapy.
Okay.
Pulsed electromagnetic frequency therapy mat. We've got one at the centre, at Full Spectrum Centre, for clients to use, and it's amazing. It was that good. I tried it a few times at the centre. Me and Andy got one between us for Christmas.
Yeah.
So, because it really helps with pain management as well. You've used it, haven't you, Anita?
I have. Do you know what? It is fantastic, and because I have, I mean, I'm happy to obviously share this with you guys on the chat and wherever is watching this. I have fibromyalgia, and at times it can be really chronic. So I have chronic pain anyway, chronic fatigue. And the first time I used the PEF mat, oh my Lord, I'm not joking. I said to Mel, I was on there for 5 to 10 minutes. I tolerated. Oh my God, it felt like all my nerves were actually electrified because it felt that good.
What does it do?
So I'm not just saying.
What does it do?
I was buzzing. I was seriously buzzing. And the next day, I'm not exaggerating, but the next day I've had, I had the most energy that I've had in a long time, because it did what it meant to do. It went down into the lower levels that we don't always see, the things that we really need, cellular levels, like Mel said before. And it's the frequencies. And if you remember, all our body, the aura is a frequency. It's surrounding us. Energy's around us all the time. And it's the fact that, it's amazing, isn't it, Mel, to use?
Yeah, well, if you bear in mind as well that it's set at the natural frequency that we all should be. So when you're outside in nature, you're in the frequency that the earth should be balancing at. But when you're indoors, you've got all your electromagnetic spark, you've got your Wi-Fi, you've got lots of different things going on in the house, radiation from your microwave or whatever. And it messes with the frequencies, and those actually interfere with your body on a cellular level. And have you seen the Faraday cases? You can put your keys in them or your cards in them so that people can connect to them. Well, your house is actually like a big Faraday cage, because it's holding in all those electromagnetic frequencies. And the PEMF mat sort of resets your body back to the natural frequencies that it should be. And that encourages cell reproduction and cell health and cell growth, which helps your cells take in the nutrients that they need to take in and get rid of the waste that they don't need. And then that enables all your healthy cells to grow in your body. So it regenerates any areas of your body that aren't working or aren't healthy. It increases your circulation, so it can improve like your heart, any heart problems or respiratory problems or anything like that. And it was actually developed by a NASA scientist for the spacemen when they came back from space. They'd all got osteoporosis. So he put them on a diet and obviously an exercise regime and this PEMF mat, and it actually reversed the osteoporosis that they'd experienced. So it really is a powerful piece of kit. It's amazing. But we got it because Andy has multiple sclerosis as well, so he has a lot of pain, and he finds it really helps him as well. Anne's just said she loves the PEMF mat too. Crystal therapy, it's amazing.
Fantastic,
so she comes down here and
I mean, my favourite therapy, I would say, really is crystal therapy. And Reiki's obviously a close second to me, but totally agree. It's like I say, the PEMF. Oh my Lord, it is powerful. So if you guys out there do struggle with anything that's ME or MS, as long as obviously you get confirmation from the GP first, you can, by all means go, book an appointment with the centre, because, and I'm not just saying this, I know it really, really works. So it might take one session, it might take two. And someone like myself who has these chronic pain conditions, you might not be able to tolerate a full half an hour. But what we do is, like Mel or myself, if I was at the centre, or Joanne, there's quite a few, as well as Catherine as well. What we would do is we would sort of suit it for you guys. So say example, if you wanted to trial it just for 10 minutes, then that's what they do. And it's like small steps. We just would tailor the treatment to yourselves. So, it is something, it's just a strong, but it's so healing as well. And like you say, it's working in the depths where we can't see, all that cellular, I can't even get my words out now. Cellular, that's the one. And how it works and how it sort of gets everything going is amazing. And that, I'm not just saying that, it is amazing. So what's yours, Claire?
Oh my God. I think it might be this mat that you're talking about, because I've never tried it, but I mean, I'm sold. I need myself a go on with them.
Go on my website, because I've written a whole page up on it telling you all the benefits that you can experience. So yeah, we'll go on that.
I drive 9 hours now just to go and get them out at the centre, because it does sound that I need.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, as it gets a bit darker, and I have SAD, and a lot of people have SAD, and sad obviously, due to the seasonal changes, and I think the PEMF is really good for that as well. So it's not just, like I say, it's not just a physical changes that you'll find it's neurological, psychological. It helps the whole body as a whole, which holistic work is, isn't it? So yeah,
I need one of them. But no, mine is all the time. It does depend. It depends on everything, doesn't it? Some days I wake up and it's like today I came down the stairs. We've been getting loads of dark weather up here, so I think I have had a bit of sad going on, a bit of seasonal affected, because we've not been waking up to sunshine. We've not having it looks like I'm lying because I'm sat in the sun right now, but we've had weeks of just nothing but rain and fog. So I got up this morning and came downstairs, and I was like, I've got a light box, like a blue light, a Philips blue light. So you have 20 minutes of that, which is like an artificial lumen. Like the lumens are like something like 20,000 lumens or something, and it just gives you that blue sky effect. So that's brilliant. And then I was sat with that for 20 minutes, because it's quite interesting, because people sit with it in front of their faces like it's a sunbed, but it's basically like 45-degree angle, because that's how your eye would see the sky, the blue sky. So yeah, I always use that. Make sure I use that. And then I used it with some eucalyptus oil. So as I'm sat there taking in the light therapy, I'm breathing in eucalyptus, and then it was like a new pin. I was like, I'm ready for the day now.
Fantastic. Now, what other things have you tried then? I've tried, I've had flower essences, and that's been really, I found that really helpful. During periods of anxiety, just put in a mixture in water. And that was really interesting how the lady who did that, she pulled, it was like a mixture of using cards, like flower cards, to see what cards I was suited to. It was really,
and there's different brands as well. So, Australia Bush and, Vogel, and there's lots of different back remedies, which we probably all know. But yeah, I mean, like I trained a long time ago with flower essences, and if I'm feeling really, really down, I always go back to my flower essences, because they're the things that, again, like you said, you're feeling really sort of, you've got problems with anxiety, or if you're coming up at exams by, I mean, when I learnt to drive, it sounds awful, but when I got into my driving test, because I do get really bad anxiety,
Yeah,
and I
did.
ended up taking, I ended up taking a couple of pills, from the natural pills, like the not Nitol, but the other ones,
Calms.
the
That's how
calms,
I
that's
got
it,
through
calms.
mine. That's how
Yeah,
I
no,
got
it's
through mine with calms.
oh my god, I was popping on like sweets in the end, because you just can't help it, can you? Because you're just anxious and throughout the day, and then you're like, oh. But yeah, calms are really good. They're very short term use, obviously, but you don't use them on a long term. If you use them on long term, then obviously you need to get checked out by the GP, because it's obviously there's an ongoing issue, and you need to obviously hit the nail on the head, really, as such. But yeah, fluorescences definitely. Like I said, I did the aromatherapy, Indian head massage. I love. I think it's so therapeutic. Especially with the scalp. I mean, obviously, if you're epileptic or you have really bad headaches, in the sense that you have a lot of migraines, I'd advise working on the head. But you can do anything on the shoulders or lower back. Again, epilepsy, you've just got to be very, very careful of anything like that. So it's, I mean, as practitioners, we always have to sort of do a proper evaluation of the client. Yeah, so we do that because we have to. So we can get a good history about everything that's obviously happened, what medication's been taken. So yeah, it's beneficial that way as well, because it helps you when you sort of come along and help with the treatments. There's lots of different things that you can talk about. What have you done in the past, Mel?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to come back to the comments, because Anne said that she loves the PenFMAT and crystal therapy. So we spoke about the PenFMAT, and we spoke a bit about crystal therapy. Anne, I'd love to know what you think about, what is it you like about the crystal therapy? How has that helped you? And Brenda's in here as well. She said, did anyone see that Manchester Trust is looking for a Reiki practitioner? Which Anne said, Mel, you made for that job. I'll look out for that one. But Brenda, I know Brenda does reflexology. So Brenda, maybe you can tell us a little bit about reflexology as well, and share, the benefits of that in the group. That's a good chat as well. Crystal therapy, I'm learning about that at the moment. I'm doing a course with Joe to learn about crystal therapy, and we've been doing lots of practicals on each other. And I've really enjoyed it. I really love the crystal therapy. The Reiki, like I say, and I love both, because I do obviously angelic and Eastern Reiki, and I love both for different reasons, and they're both different frequencies. So the Eastern Reiki, I find, is very instant when I'm doing it on myself, self Reiki, whereas the angelic Reiki takes a little bit of time for the energies to start flowing through, and then you've got different vibrations. So from speaking to clients, it's been interesting how some find the Eastern Reiki very relaxing, whereas the angelic can give them a bit more energy sometimes, whereas others relax more with it. So it's really interesting, and I love them both, equally for different reasons. So yeah, I can't say I've got a favourite, actually, because when I think back to everything that I've tried, I've enjoyed it.
It's impossible.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the nicest treatments that I think that I used to do was thermal auricular treatments or therapy, which is happy ear candling treatments, because that is really, really therapeutic. What it does, it relaxes, because with that you're also getting Reiki as well if you're a Reiki practitioner. And also it just allows you to then allows the client to feel really, really rested. You put music on, they can hear the crackling of the candle, and it's beneficial, because what it does, it works through the sinuses in the nose, and obviously helps to rebalance everything. So it's really good if someone's got tinnitus as well.
Could that help with prenasal drip?
Yeah, it can, because I've always had a problem with my sinuses, and I've got a deviated septum, so that's what I have, and it does help a lot.
Right. That's interesting, yeah.
And it's also good 48 hours before you actually fly, because what it does, it can help to balance the ears, and again 48 hours after you've landed, and vice versa. So so that's another treatment that's really, really therapeutic, and it also works on the lymphatic system as well. So all the toxins actually works through, and then you just look at the candle, which is made usually of cotton flax, and depending which candle brand you buy, some of them have got what you call propolis in, which is a natural antibiotic, which is made by beeswax. Yeah. So again, it's about obviously helping the toxins work through the body, and then what you would do is, after you've had the candle in, you would then just do a little face massage, and you would massage around the auricula, which is the ear, so you can just work in the lymphatic system. So yeah, it's really, really, if you want a relaxation and you want it, about half an hour treatment, a short treatment. Tat is, well, I call it tat, but everyone else, you normally see it as hoppy ear candling treatment. So
I nearly went for that. I nearly did the training for that, and I swapped to the crystal therapist, so it might be one.
It's something that I definitely would look at if you want to provide the client with a mixture of treatments. If they say, for example, book like an hour and a half with you, one of the treatments could be the hoppy ear candling, and then you could do a mixture of other treatments as well, because they're short treatments.
Right. Oh, sounds lovely. And she posted, she said, I love the crystals because you can actually feel the crystals working, and you can feel the energy moving through the different parts of your body. It really is amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can, like you say, I mean, Claire, you work with crystals a lot yourself, and you get the benefit of your crystals, don't you?
Oh, just and it's funny because I was saying on the call on Sunday that I'd had like an unwellness after getting back off holiday. It was some virus, I don't know, but I was all congested. I could have done with a hoppy ear candle, put it like that. I needed everything to be just taken away. But I was saying about my natural instinct is to go to my crystals. It's just a natural instinct to like look at them, which one needs to help me out. And I literally went to them and I couldn't pick one up. My body was so hypersensitive that maybe everything was just too strong. Even a rose quartz, which is quite soft for me. But now I feel better. I want them all. So I don't even know what this one is. I think it's a bit of I'll send a picture actually. I don't even know where it's come from, because I certainly don't remember buying it. So where this has come from, I don't know, but I don't know if you can see that.
Is it malachite?
Well, I thought it, but it's got quite a lot of black in it as well.
Yeah, malachite does.
I found it outside. Yeah, found it in the garden today.
Well, that's really, really powerful, Claire. So just be careful.
Yeah. Well, that's what I find quite interesting, because after not being able to touch one for a good 5 days at least, today I've come outside and I'm like, oh, look at, because we've got stones and rocks everywhere, and I was like, what's that pretty thing? So it's been in my pocket all day.
There you go. You see, that's obviously come off from the earth. So
yeah,
it's
I wouldn't have it on you for too long.
No, not too much. And don't do what I did. I wore once, like the cages that you can get.
Oh yeah.
I put a piece of malachite in there, and I went out, and it was actually it was my birthday meal we went out for many moons ago now, and I remember wearing it, and it's fine for a couple of hours, but I actually fell asleep in it. And when I woke up the next day, as I sit here, this is the truth, I actually developed labyrinthitis.
Oh, wow.
So it was obviously, and what you'll find with malachite is it will bring out anything that's below the surface quicker.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah. So
Anne's just said she's got one similar to that, so Anne, don't have it
Yeah.
on your person for too long. It's usually just
no.
maybe a couple of hours max.
And it is actually it's quite a stone where it's quite poisonous. So if you cut into it, it's actually bright red inside. So just don't do anything with water or anything like that with it, Claire. Don't do elixirs with it, whatever you do.
Funny because malachite's one of the very first crystals that I actually learned about, because
my
sister is not into crystals at all, but I'd started getting into them, and there used to be a place in Stockport up near like where B&Q is. It used to be called,
is it K something?
Gone. I mean, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was like a crystal and gem work, massive big place. And it's good because I used to speak to the guys in there, in there all the time. Anytime when I first started to develop like my love for crystals, I found myself in there like any day, like I'm going in there, So I got to know the people quite well, and they didn't really care about the healing properties. They just had crystals, I guess. Somehow they must have. But every time I asked them about a crystal, like, don't know anything about it. We just buy them, sell them, sort of thing. So I had to find my own way, and I took my sister in this one day, and she was just naturally straight to this malachite, and she won't leave it alone, So I was like, let me just check what this is, and I read up on it pretty quick. I was like, you're not buying any. No, or a little piece. But she was looking at these big dopping pieces. But it said about if you cut it or break it, the dust can be quite.
It is, it is. Brenda's just said on the chat. Was it Manchester Minerals? It was called.
It's got a roundabout.
Yeah.
Decathlon
she
there.
just put that on the chat. So, but yeah, it's amazing when you do pick up things about crystals and you learn about, the what sort of qualities it has, but also and the healing properties, but also what not to do with it. And like I say, one of malachite, please don't put it in water. By all means, put clear quartz in. That's fine. But no, not malachite. But malachite is good it's awful to say, if anyone's had a tumour of some sort. So if it's a benign tumour, it can help to alleviate pain. It's quite good for sort of the chemotherapy sort of healing side of things, to help you to alleviate and any sort of side effects you're suffering. So by using crystals, it's another way of just helping you assist with your other treatments. That's why it's complementary. So we're not saying that it gets rid of anything that's obviously a tumour or anything like that, but what we're saying is it might help to alleviate any of the pain and anything that comes aside of that as well. Side effects.
I think the thing to mention with any of the holistic healing is, like you say, they are complementary therapies. But whereas the medical profession can give you things to treat the symptoms, quite often holistic therapy can get to the root of the cause as well. So they work well together. But we would never say, and no specialist, no reputable specialist would ever say, do this instead of conventional treatment. You would use them together.
Oh, definitely. And like I said before, before you actually come to see us, the best thing to do if you're actually receiving specialised treatment like that is always ask your specialist or your GP first, because then you can actually get a defined, yes, it's okay to do that. Nowadays, a lot of the professionals now understand holistic therapies. When I started out many moons ago, it was quite difficult to obviously approach people in the practices. However, the training's slightly different now, and there's different outlooks to it. And like you said, Mel, definitely it's complementary, it's holistic. It's not going to do anyone any harm. In fact, what it does is it assists the conventional medicine that we would use from the GPs or specialists that we see for our treatments.
Yeah. And like Brenda's posted before, if the NHS are looking for Reiki practitioners, that's a really positive sign that they are valuing
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Different aspects. And I know when I had when I went through anxiety following my cancer treatment, I had a aromatherapy massage at the Macmillan Centre, you know. So so it is becoming more recognised with the NHS, which is really good. Yeah.
And then as well, you know, we think about the other side of it, and hospices, they always look at holistic therapies to, like I say, to alleviate any of the chemotherapy side effects. So, you know, some things are good to help with sickness or the way that someone's feeling tired, you know.
Yeah. Well, do you know, when I was having chemotherapy, that was my first introduction to Reiki, because when I had the chemotherapy, I was really poorly afterwards. So I got that I would really start getting anxious when I was due to have my next bout of chemotherapy. And my aunt was a Reiki practitioner, who said, would you like some Reiki? And I'd never heard of it before. And I just said, you know, yeah, go on, I'll give it a try. And it was absolutely brilliant. I felt so relaxed. I saw lots of different colours. I kept getting a really strong urge, a strong feeling that I needed to give back and that I was going to be doing that one day, although at the time it was all completely new to me and I couldn't see how, you know, how little we know.
Exactly. You never know what's round the corner, as they say.
But it got me through all my chemotherapy, because as soon as I started to feel that little bit of anxiety, I phoned my auntie, she did the Reiki, and then I say, you know, it really got me through the chemotherapy then, and through my whole cancer treatment with a positive attitude. And that in itself is a lifesaver, because your attitude towards healing is everything. You've got to believe that you're getting well, you know. And when you're feeling better in yourself, when you're feeling down, that's when your attitude can go and the fear can kick in.
Yeah.
But you bring in something like that, and what the Reiki did was it got rid of the fear and it got rid of the anxiety, so I could keep that positive mental attitude as I got through the treatment and sailed through it, and I recovered really well afterwards. So yeah, it is. It's so invaluable.
Definitely. And like you say, it's just all the different aspects of all the different treatments that we can provide. And if we don't provide them, we can always get the information for a client. So, you know, so they can learn more about it. You know, and like I said before, if you think about it, if you hurt yourself and you have to go for physio, it is manipulation of the body, isn't it? So they're touching your body. So it's actually affecting you, not just mentally, but it's affecting you physically and emotionally. So it's still, you know, and yet people don't see physiotherapy as being what we say, an holistic therapy, but it is.
Yeah. The thing as well that people don't see, and this is one of the areas where doctors and the medical profession can't touch and they don't see it, so they can't do anything with it, is your etheric body and your auric field.
Yeah.
Because your etheric body, if you sort of hold your thumb and finger like that and just relax your eyes, you can actually see your etheric body like a little transparent band in between. And that's all around your body, that's all around your organs. That helps your organs and everything take shape. So if you've got a cut or anything, it's your etheric body that's cut first before your physical body's cut first. Yeah. But that's also the first to repair before the cut repairs. So by healing this sort of etheric body and auric field, you're assisting your own healing. But of course, conventional medicine doesn't have a tablet to heal your etheric body because they can't see it. They don't know how to deal with it. And that's something else that, you know, holistic therapists can do. And that's where your Reiki is working. You're working with the energy, you know, physical, your emotional, your spiritual, mental fields. There's all different layers to your etheric body that are being healed through your sort of spiritual healing with the crystals, with the Reiki, you know. And it's just fascinating. Even with the reflexologies, I'm sure Brenda will probably know. Do you two do reflexology? Do you do that?
I've done reflex, yeah.
Yeah, because that's attaching with all the different meridians that go through your body system. And it's amazing. I've had reflexology on my feet and by two different people, and they both recognised I had a problem with my shoulder. and a slight problem with a lung, you know, and that's two
Mm.
different people, because you can pick up so much information about the body just from working your magic on the feet. Say working your
Yeah.
magic. I don't know.
And the other thing is as well with the reflexology, it's not just your feet, it's your hands. You can do it on your ears. So, you know, these are all mapped out because of the meridians. So, yeah, you're quite right. It all works together. It's all connected. It's just if you look at your hands and look at your feet, obviously your feet are usually a lot bigger than your hands, depending how small your feet are. You know, so, and then your ears again, you know, if you think about things, and you guys probably think, you know, when I'm thinking about something, I'm always rubbing my ears. And that bit there, the lobe, is actually that's your brain in reflexology. So that part is actually your brain. So you're stimulating your brain when you're doing that.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
You learned something today, girls.
Yeah, because people hear sort of some old wives' tales and they don't understand them, but putting Vicks on your feet and then shoving through socks, and that really does ease a cough, you know, especially a night cough. And people are like, well, how? But it's
true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's saying like your toxins do go for your feet, and I can prove that because I know from personal experience where my husband is type 1 diabetic, and I kept, you know, sometimes when you just smell something but it doesn't smell right. I'm not saying he was smelling, because he wasn't. Well, he was, but he wasn't. And what it was, he started with ketoacidosis, and what it does, it actually comes out your pores, but it comes out your feet more. So the more that it was, and I know it sounds strange, but that's what it was doing. All the toxins were going out of his feet. And you know, when someone says, "Oh, your feet smell," it's literally because the toxins are going through your feet, and it's because, I mean, obviously, you know, we usually have shoes on and stuff, so our feet are always, you know, normally covered, and hence why, you know. But yeah, it was like, oh my Lord, and it was only because I could smell it off his socks, and I'm thinking, what the bloody hell's that? Because it was, they say like, you know, when a diabetic can smell pear drops. Very similar. Well, it was that, but it wasn't sweet. It wasn't as sweet as you think it is. It's more of it's quite hard to explain, but it's more of a dry smell of pear drops. So it's not like smelling sweetness.
Yeah.
But it's like I say, once you smell it, you understand it. So, but yeah, he had a kidney problem with it. It was awful. He was really, really poorly. Yeah.
So what is
so
that?
it just shows you ketoacidosis. It's a build-up of toxins in your it's in your bladder usually, or in your it goes into your blood. It's an infection that not just diabetics get it, because obviously because of, you have to watch the ketones in the urine, but I think non-diabetics can get it as well. But it's just that if it's a diabetic, they tend to build it up quicker. But yeah, it's a build-up of toxins.
Wow.
And it's very, very, it acts very quickly, and it doesn't react to insulin as well. It's insulin resistant. So the more insulin they're putting in, so for example, my husband may take 26 units of insulin when he's having a meal at night. For him to actually try and get the levels down, he was actually having to double his insulin levels and more, just to try and get it under control.
Wow.
Or you have to go into hospital, and they give it you intravenously, just to try and get it under control. But yeah, it's frightening. It really is.
Yeah.
So it's something you need to look out for. If you're diabetic, look after yourselves. Make sure you're obviously testing yourselves quite regularly.
Yeah.
Especially if you're being poorly as well. That's when it's, it can start. Yeah.
Wow. We're just going back to the reflexology Brenda's postage. Yeah. Reflexology for mindfulness is a very gentle treatment. The slow stroking of C-tactile fibres found on hairy skin contributes to the effective touch and can have an analgesic effect and work to reduce anxiety. So there you go. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So,
well, this is the thing I was thinking, because when you said about going to doctors, you go to a doctor when you're not well.
Yeah.
But you can go to a therapist when you're really well, just to maintain the wellness. And I think that's the difference between like a complementary therapy complements, you know, a traditional like doctor, but ultimately a therapist can find things out that direct you towards a doctor. Because I know I've had a friend she got reflexology for like it was like a first time treatment. It was like a taster session. She got it, and the lady said something about, I can't remember what it was now, but it was something about something inside her knee. And she was like, no, my knee's fine. My knee's absolutely fine. And the lady was like, get it checked. You know, my friend was like, nah, there's nothing wrong with my knee. And then about 3 days later, her knee went on her, and she ended up going to the doctors, getting it sorted out. And then she was like, oh my God, I didn't really believe that therapist, but the therapist could clearly feel something not quite right in the knee, you know? So again, you can go to therapy just for a nice time, whereas a doctor is normally when you're not feeling the best.
Yeah, it was a chiropractor who first recognised that there was something more serious wrong with Andy when he was diagnosed with MS.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote a letter to the doctor and got him seen.
And this is the benefit, isn't it? Because you can just go and get a massage whenever you want, you know, reflexology, Hopi candles, whenever you want. Like, but people leave big gaps in between them, and then wonder why they're feeling a bit depleted, or why they're feeling a bit grumpy, or they're not quite recovering from a cold as quick as they used to. And they keep popping all these like pills from the GP or whatever, or but you could just go and get a massage. You know, you could.
The thing is, what massage and these therapies can do as well, they can bring ease and relaxation and peace to your body, because when there's dis-ease, that's when your body starts to take it on board and it turns into disease. So you look after your body, you keep these top-ups of all these different, you know, whatever treatment works for you, you keep your body in flow, and it does stop your body going into that state of disease. You know, it can
a bit like, I know it sounds silly, but the way I see it is, and I always use it as an example, you know, your car won't run without any petrol in it.
Yeah.
So you keep your petrol filled up, or your car, you know, oil needs to be tanked up, so you've got that level. Otherwise, it just doesn't, you know, it doesn't run as good as it should do. So it's that sort of thing, really, and it's an analogy, really, of saying this is how it is. However, you're quite right. Just keep up the treatments. I mean, you don't, like you say, Clay, sometimes it is to do with the monetary value as well, because it's difficult out there at the moment. However, you know, sometimes you'll find that customers, therapists have special offers on. So, you know, it might be worth booking 3 appointments. You might get a good discount off. So it's things like that, you know, so you can treat yourself, and it's worth it, isn't it?
Oh, for definitely.
Absolutely.
I've been living in a place that doesn't have access to these wonderful PEF mats that I've heard about today.
There's not many places have them.
No.
Well, I mean, I need to track one down, but living up here, you certainly won't find anything like that. So I've had to really revert back to like quite primitive, well, not primitive, just having to do it myself, you know, rather than try to find a wonderful therapist to have an hour away from it. So get a lot of pet therapy. The cat is currently sat next to me.
So I've got my 2 little boys on the it must be our call again, but the 2 little boys, the girls are nowhere in sight, but the 2 little boys are on the other bed, flat out.
Yeah.
So they're enjoying the call.
Oh no, Cinder's the same. Yeah, she's like, wherever you are, Mum, I will come and find you, and I will sit.
And you know what? Don't the animals love holistic therapy as well? How often do you find Cinder's laying on crystals? Daisy loves a Reiki. She absolutely loves it. As soon as I go in the conservatory, which is where I do any Reiki treatments or crystal healing, Daisy's there in with me, and if she can't get through the door, she sleeps in a cage, which is just outside it, so that she can be as close as possible to the energy. If she's in there, she quite often she'll be snoring by the end of it. Meditation. She loves meditation.
Yep.
You know, she meditates with you. But the other thing that we've not mentioned actually with the holistic therapy, which is one for people to think of, is when we talk about disease coming from dis-ease, we don't often think about what we take on from other people because we're all quite empathic, and quite often intention can be very powerful. And if people are sort of thinking negative thoughts, maybe you've come up driving, accidentally, but people don't tend to have any patience for people making mistakes, so they might hurl insults at you, or curse you, or you might come across people who don't agree with what you're doing and can be quite angry, and all those things you do pick up on. And that's something else that sort of can be taken into your etheric field if you're not properly protected.
Yeah.
And that's something else that through holistic therapy you can sort of cleanse and clear some of that and bring you back into balance.
It's like yesterday was my birthday, so I was very lucky enough to open loads of lovely birthday cards that people sent from all over the place. Plus, obviously, we've got new technology now, so I was getting text messages and little videos and WhatsApps, and there was loads of ways of people sending me like birthday wishes, and it's kind of like sending manifestations to someone. So by getting a card or a text that says wishing you all the best, have a wonderful day, like thoroughly enjoy your birthday drinks tonight, that is someone, and it's the power of like
yes
a group of like, I think like over 100 people, on Facebook yesterday saying happy birthday, have a wonderful day on top of the cards and things. And I just think that is an awful lot of good
positivity.
Yeah.
And gratitude, another one.
Yeah. And it's like I've got the card on the table. I came downstairs this day after the birthday. I look at the cards, they make me smile. They've got pictures on the front that like, some of them make me laugh, some of them are heartfelt. There's all different types of good wishes. And I just think, if one person was to message me yesterday and tell me I was an awful human and have a horrible birthday, that would have done a lot of damage, because why would anybody want to say that to someone? So when someone, like you said, cuts you up in the car and they hurl an insult at you or whatever, it might not even be personal. It might just be a flippant comment, but it can damage your whole psychology for the day. So you have to make sure that you're strong enough, don't you? And that is, I would think, was that meant for me? Because if someone specifically said, Claire, I wish you a wonderful day, yes, it's for me. If someone says, Claire, I wish you a horrible day, I know it's for me. And you have to find out why. But you can just like reflect it away and go, that person in my entire life. So they clearly
protection.
Yeah, you got to. And like you said, an insult across the room. If it's personal, it's going to hurt more than if it's just a random person. So take what is meant for you, and obviously deal with it. Take it in, absorb, work on it, and process it into a positive if you can. But people are taking in constant bad things, and a lot of it. I was saying it the other day about I had a crystal sat under the TV. I was watching quite a few like horror films over like a period of time, and I thought that poor crystal has absorbed all those screams and curdling sounds. I'm gonna have to go and look after it a bit. And I took it outside and gave it a bit of a sun bath, and because I can't expect that crystal to treat me nice if I've been, well, not treating it nice, but it's been in quite a toxic corner for a few films. And I just think, you can take what's meant for you, but just ask what's not for you to go. I do it a lot. Like if I do feel quite unwell, I would say, angels, take away anything that does not belong to me and leave me with what I'm supposed to experience. You can normally feel some pain go, because I can wake up with a bad back or a bad arm, or ask it to go. What's not mine, please take it away, and I'll deal with what I'm supposed to deal with.
Yeah, I've done that before, and I've come back in such a really sort of bad mood, really feeling quite down and quite anxious. And then I've just asked Archangel Michael to cut ties and take it away, and I've instantly felt uplifted, because what I'm experiencing isn't my energy. I've taken that on from somebody, from work that day who was anxious.
And it's your outer, what you can't see, but it is hooks into your aura. People hook into it, and especially if you are a positive person, people want a bit of that, So you can lend someone your ear to listen to their woes, and of course you will, because that's what. But then some people want to leave it with you, leave their problem with you, so they feel better.
Yeah.
But then you can say, right, either I don't want your problems, shake it off. And that's why, I mean, I say it all the time, but that's a massive benefit of having a shower before you go to bed, because anything from the day, wash it off. Everything's going down that sink and away from the house, And
Yeah.
it's a way of getting rid of the day's build up.
Yeah, good tip. Brenda's posted, she said some keyboard warriors accuse therapists of being snake oil salesmen. In the 6 years of practicing, I've never found a snake oil supplier. No, and that's a classic example of something that's aimed sort of publicly rather than directly at you. And something, not everybody understands holistic therapy. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand about the energetic field, which needs a lot of TLC as well as the other. And that's fine, because, it's not meant for them. And when it is meant for them, I'm sure they will find somebody.
But surprisingly, probably do need it more than anyone, because if they're feeling quite angry at someone they've never met and they want to throw a load of insults at them, probably says they probably need a little bit of care.
They probably need of healing themselves if they're feeling that bad that they've got to make other people feel bad. Yeah. Just send love at them. They need it.
Definitely. Well, that's it. Kill them with kindness, I always say.
Yeah. It's the ones who are the I think who are the nastiest, who are hurting the most, I always think.
Yeah.
So
it's misery breeds misery, and if they're feeling pretty down, they want to be surrounded by it. And if you're there being quite upbeat and happy and providing care and love to someone, they don't want that, because no one's doing it for them. So they try and cut off by to everybody by making that therapist, want to give up, which is just awful, isn't it?
Yeah. Another thing is, a lot of people don't take the time to actually find out about things. It's easier just to take one person's view, or somebody's told them that that's rubbish, so they'll take that and pass that on themselves without actually trying it or learning a little bit about it or where it comes from. So, it's easy to be a sort of Google expert, isn't it? Without, seen the whole picture in different sides. People quite often will see what they want to see, and that's fine. Everybody's got a choice. Everybody's got their own reality. You just don't let that affect yours, really.
No, and then you'll see years when they actually do turn up at someone's therapist centre saying, I've gone through this major trauma, or like, I've been really unwell, and they're like,
that's when you usually wake up to it, isn't it?
It's normally when you've gone through a period of quite angry life, like you go, oh my God, could have just dealt with it by having some reflexology and some meditation, but you have to learn the hard way, don't you, sometimes? And I'm sure they'll turn up at someone's door at some point and be asking for help.
Well, I think sometimes what we go through, we need to, I think often our experiences shape how we need to be able to help others. So, it's people who are going through anxiety who need the help, but quite often as a practitioner, you've gone through it yourself before, to understand it and best be able to help them. So,
and I have a way to stay calm, because if someone's throwing an insult at me, it doesn't happen very often, because you actually find that your barrier is so high, you get it so thick, and you actually don't encounter those people anymore. Miraculous. It's quite miraculous, actually. You just stop coming across them. But if someone was to, I'd be like, I feel really sorry for them. They need help. They need something. And like you said, Mel, wish them love and light, and hope they find the right path. Don't need to live you don't need to live in an angry life. You just don't. There's another way.
Yeah. A comment I've missed, Brenda said she gives her clients a fragrance self-heating eye mask to wear during treatment of reflexology, because it helps quiet the chatter so they can relax into the treatment as well. And that relaxation really does help, doesn't it? Yeah. Although not all treatments, a lot of people expect complementary therapy. I think you touched on this before, Anita, to be relaxing, but quite often when there's healing to be done, it's not always, just relaxation, because quite often if some of the dis-ease is deep-rooted, then you need to work through some of that, and bringing some of that up can cause, you know, your emotions to be stirred. It can cause a short period of pain, but going through that pain barrier is what brings you through to that healing where you feel ultimately better. So, you know, there is an aspect of that as well.
Well, this is the thing, is this, like when I said people should keep it up, because if you don't go very often to heal your mind, body, and spirit all in one, then when you leave it a big gap and then you go, you're like, oh God, I actually feel quite off, or that didn't feel quite good. And I always thought head massages were great, or I always thought reflexology was relaxing, but it's probably because you were in a well place when you had it, and it did keep you in line. But like you said, if your chakras are out of whack, or there's one that is going really off, and they pick on that, you know, it can really, 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 really hurt. But not even like, not pain. I mean, like, just, you can cry. I've had reflexology and cried my eyes out, and I've got in there not knowing that was going to come out. I've been very grateful it has come out, because it's needed to. But if someone goes away going, oh, I'm never doing that again because it hurt, or I cried, or whatever, probably go again and again until you get to a point where it doesn't hurt or make you feel sad anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between going to a doctor and going to a therapist, isn't it? A doctor will heal your symptoms, whereas therapy only heal the cause, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we were talking about the PenFMAT before and how it helps your cells get rid of all the toxins and the waste from your body. Now, the very first time I went on the PenFMAT, when I went to bed that night, do you know when you've had a lot to drink and you get in bed and the room starts spinning and you feel sick? I experienced that the first time when I got up, and I felt like I was going to be sick. And then I realised, well, what's alcohol? It's a toxin, isn't it? Why do you feel like that? Because your body's purging the toxins. So the very first time I went on the PenFMAT, that's what I experienced, because my body was purging the toxins. I've never had it since. I just get complete relaxation. But that first time, it had obviously done a lot of shifting and clearing. And that's why quite often it's really important to drink lots and lots of water when you have any sort of therapy treatment, because your body is getting rid of the toxins, and it just need flushing through.
Yeah. I remember the very first time I had reflexology, the very, very first time. And I still can't believe how much how many wheeze I had the next day. Like, I was just constantly in the bathroom. And I was like, well, Jo did say I would go to the bathroom more, and she's right. Like, and I just think it's just this like massive detox, isn't it? It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Must have been hard enough.
So, great topic for discussion tonight, Anita. It's it's brought up loads. And of course, just because we're ending the call doesn't mean that topic needs to be over, because anybody watching the replay, do share your experiences in the comment. And, you know, if you deliver therapies, or what therapies have you had and what your experience is, what's your favourite? Let's see who can name a favourite. Do share in the comments. There's someone. Oh, Heather's joined us. Hi, Heather. She said, I think time makes a difference too. People are rushed into a doctor's, but a therapist makes time for the person. Also, doctors mostly have general knowledge with lots of gaps, but a therapist does the same all the time. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. So, fantastic. Right, so we've been on an hour tonight. It's been a nice long call. We could still carry on talking for ages about this, but I think we'll have to call it a day. Maybe if any more questions come up about this, we can sort of answer any questions going forward on another call. But for now, we're going to say goodbye and thank you all for watching and joining in with the discussion. And as I say, do continue to post your comments, views and questions in the group, and we can address them on another call another day. So thanks everyone. We'll be back next week at 7 o'clock as usual. See you then. Bye.
Bye.